All right, I got to tell you, though, before I let you go, I got to tell you, and I know Casey McAllister uses the word to describe him all the time as stink. I got to tell you, the team that is starting, I think, to make a serious challenge to the Bengals, the Cleveland Browns. Okay, you say whatever you want. I mean, they go get Zadarius Smith. They've already got Garrett. They get Dalvin Thompson. They've got stars all over the field on defense. They've got Deshaun Watson, who, whether you like the guy or don't like the guy, when he was able to go through year by year, off-season, working out at a team's facility all the years with the Texans, he was considered to be one of the 3 or 4 top guys in the league. They got Chubb. They got a very good offensive line. They've got some wide receivers. You're sitting there grinning like I'm a madman. I'm telling you, I know they're the Browns, and they'll find a way to screw it up probably. But I'm telling you, they're making some noise.
I think this is an Ohio thing or something like that. Because where I'm sitting at, I see a 7-8 win team. Just go through three things real quick. Three things real quick. What do you think is the biggest strength of the Cleveland Browns in years past? What would that be?
Well, it'd be their run game and their offensive line.
So if you're telling me Deshaun Watson is now like some superhero that's like that's vibranium on his still.
Wait a minute, Zim. Wait a minute now. I bet you if you and I, this show didn't exist, you were around and going strong already. But I would bet money that 2 or 3 years ago you were saying Watson was great.
Yes, and he still is. But if you're telling me that Watson is now going to be throwing the football more to utilize what makes him a point of strength. His accuracy is really pretty good when he's not rusty. And he can move, he's mobile, all these different things. He's an excellent quarterback. But if you're telling me that that's the strength of the team is running the football, I'm now taking the ball out of his hands, and out of Nick Chubb's hands, and now that's 6 to 8 less carries a game. That works in the Bengals' favor because those are the things that I think that hurt us the most. Also, secondly, they've done nothing from the linebacker position to cover us out in the flats, and I still don't believe in any of their linebacking core. I don't believe in their secondary. Their secondary, the last time that we saw them with no T. Higgins, no Tyler Boyd, and Hayden Hurst, what did Jamar Chase do to him when he got a full game on him? 10 catches, 120 yards, and nobody could stop him. Denzel Ward is probably one concussion away from being like maybe they're looking at him like with a crazy magnifying glass. The guy Newsom, he requested a trade this offseason. I could go all around the board, and they still can't stop the run. All those different things that they did, bringing in pass rushes and stuff like that, they were still one of the worst run defense teams in the National Football League.
Yes, they were.
I'm telling you, that this is an Ohio thing that I think the reluctancy to say that they're trash, I get that. But you probably know like some Cleveland Browns fans that might give you some hell. Whereas I don't got any Cleveland Brown friends that I'm worried about at all. And I really just think I think you want to be respectful to your Cleveland, your
I don't at all. I could care less about the place. I really don't.
You think Cleveland Browns are better than the Baltimore Ravens?
You know what? I don't want to say that. I don't. But I think there are far bigger questions. And you got to agree with me on this. There are far bigger questions about the Ravens' defense than there is about Cleveland's defense as far as what they've tried to do to address their problems. Now, look, Zadarius Smith starts out last year. I think he had 7 sacks in the first 9 games, right? Then he hurts his knee, and I think he only had 1.5 sacks the rest of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Off the top of my head, I think that's right. Okay, but at least their run defense stunk, talking about the Browns. They go get Thompson. They bring in some other guys that look like that could make an impact in addressing it. The Ravens, because they've basically been financially strapped because of this whole Lamar thing and everything going on, I know they're taking a flyer on OBJ. We'll see how that plays out. But they've done nothing to address the concerns of their defense.
I would just say that just talking to players, like on a team, Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be an insider. If you were to ask a Bengals player, like it's the Ravens. The Ravens defense is more like now you do raise a good point. I worry about their bench and I worry about, the health and everything like that. Those are things. But as it stands, their starting lineup is built to stop the Bengals. Like
There's
as
no
far
doubt.
as their defense go.
Yep.
Like the speed of Queen, you didn't go and draft probably I thought Trenton Simpson was probably one of the best linebackers in the draft, if not the best. You go get speed with him, then you got Owusu, you got all these guys that can cover in the flats and take away all those little dump off that Joe Burrow has to take in the checkdowns. Then you got an all-pro corner out there, a real all-pro corner in Marlon Humphrey. Now, the other side, sure, they don't know their CB2. They got Rocket Center or something like that. But then they got one of the best safeties in the draft last year with Kyle Hamilton. And they got Marcus Williams, who is probably one of the best outfielders in football, so you really can't push the football down the field. Then their run defense is at the top of the NFL.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens defense is at the end of that season last year was the best defense in football.
Yes, it was.
Maybe like the 49ers. Now, offensively, they're going to have some question marks, but the lightning bolt energy of a Lamar Jackson paired up with some legit, like I thought Zay Flowers was one of the best route runners in this draft. So, like, health is a thing for them, but I think that the Ravens are, like, when I look at them from the outside looking in, that's a 10 to 12 win team. The Browns, from my viewpoint, like I said, I'm not in Ohio. I get it. That's like a 7 to 9 win team, fringe 9. And it's because there's so many holes in the run defense, the linebackers, and then the availability in like that secondary got cooked last year. I don't know why people are trying to like build that secondary up. I promise you, we played them week 1 and our wide receivers out there, I'll give you fireworks.
All right. Okay. So you're taking the early line. You're taking the Bengals, giving 2.5 up there in Cleveland, I think it was, for the early line on Betfred Sports.
You're darn tootin'.